Well, okay, but the difference is that Matt Lauer then tried to but he also tried to use them on coworkers.
We don't know that for sure. Do we know they tried to use it?
Some of the claims is that he'd be like, "I've got a closet of dildos. I'd love to try them out on you, Sally."
It's funny, yeah. I don't think they had any evidence to that. I think someone saw it, like Meredith Vieira was like, "Oh, I saw sex toys in your office," and mentioned it on the air.
Do you? I was thinking about. I was doing stand-up a couple weeks ago, and there was this really attractive female stand-up, and I was thinking about how I didn't even recognize it at the time, but I was very intimidated by her because she was very funny and clever and sharp, and I thought, wow, I hope that doesn't backfire for her in her dating life, Because you're Miss Sex, do you find that there's guys that have this assumption that you're going to be this otherworldly sexual being, and it negatively impacts your personal life?
I don't probably. I mean, the thing is, I don't think the guys are going to make it to the door that I kind of can tell that they're already thinking, what sex for them is going to be like. They assume I'm swimming from the rock or, doing all this crazy stuff. I don't know. Sometimes. But no, that's not who I am. But I think that men have the problem with it because they're like, what do you mean? I am a sexpert. I am a man. I know everything. And here's a woman who apparently knows so much more than I do. So it's confusing, I think. Men are like, if they'd want to sleep with me because they think she's going to teach me something or whatever.
But who's the fucking douchebag that really thinks that?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I'm
surprised. The men that are not you, like the Harvey Weinstein.
No, I'm looking around and I bet you all these guys, you're like, yeah, I mean, I feel like I could get the job done, but I'm not Mr. Sex. I'm not the world's greatest lover, nor would I ever out loud say that. A fucking douchebag.
I think that there's men who...
It makes me wonder about your picker. Like who you're picking.
Oh, my picker's broken?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm telling you, I don't pick those guys. What I'm telling you is that's an archetype of one of these men that I could be thinking, I'm supposed to be the expert. She's the expert. I want to be with her just because I could figure out if she knows more or less than I do. I'm not saying those are the guys that I'm not with.
No. And I didn't insinuate that. My point is that it is that crazy. If a guy, not joking, says to the world, I'm Mr. Lover. I'm the lover man. I please women, and they all have many, many orgasms every time I do.
Men think that.
No.
I hope for the best. That's my fucking take on it. It's like, I really hope I'm going to try my best.
Lover, but they I know most guys think that every woman is. It's weird because I know women fake it, but not with me. Like every woman has an orgasm every single time.
I want to make.
There's men who believe.
I want to make a subgenre of porn that's called realism, where the guy comes in 30 seconds. And his penis is normal size, and then he has to explain it away, and then he goes down on her for 20 minutes so he can muster up a boner. There should be some more real, because there is something kind of crazy on both ends. No woman really wants guys to just gather around and spit in her face and pretend she's her stepmother. They should have fuck, I had a really tough day at work. Oh, I'm sure some do, but I would if there's porn where the woman's getting home from work too, and the guy's I tried, I pitched you a bath, but it's all fucked up. And then they go to fuck and he shoots real quick and he's like, no, I could do it again, I swear.
Give me a minute.
The whole thing.
Do you think that some of the pornography has adversely affected the tendency towards harassing women? Because there's all this concern that it affects how women are treated in an intimate encounter.
I think it's had so many... do I think it's had an impact on the sexual harassment? I think sex is more top of mind, and we're having a lot more, our sexist lives are just suffering because of it. And I think
because of porn.
Because there's more porn. Yeah, we were I'd rather not have sex, or I'm not going to have sex with my partner because I have porn, but I might take it out on some woman I meet out on the street, but I'm just going to keep... Yeah, and then the young people who have the only sex they've ever had, young people... is the only sex they've ever seen is the sex in porn, and then they assume that's how they're supposed to be having sex. And
I always used to say on Loveline that learning to have sex by watching porn is like learning to box by watching Rocky. It's a terrible idea,
It's terrible.
It's a Hollywood representation of what the first time you go get actually punched in the face, you're like, wait a second, wait. This is not at all how I looked on screen.
I just know it's impacting sex because a lot of people I talk to why is it every time I have sex with this woman, for example, I've heard from guys she is making these noises like a porn star, and she's saying all these things. It doesn't even seem authentic to them because that's what they're mimicking. What they say.
But also, I would imagine there's this assumption that to be a good lover, a man has to act like that. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Like, and so there's a 19-year-old guy out there who's like,
For sure.
oh, I'm dropping loads. Yeah, fuck you like that.
And he's like, why? Right.
Or feeling diminished if he's
It's a mess.
not that. Other questions? Yes. Wait, hold a second. We're right here. I'll get you a mic.
Why is it when it's Hollywood, sexual abuse, like it's water cooler talk, everybody's talking about it, but when it's children, that happens like 10,000 times over, everybody's quiet, nobody wants it. It's like such a taboo.
When children are sexually abused? So when women are harassed, we talk about it. When children are sexually abused, we clam up. That's an interesting question.
Everything's too intense when it's kids.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
It's
just
like,
so,
the whole.
I will tell you that there's a corollary to that, which is for. I swear to God, this used to drive me crazy. I used to hear about childhood sexual abuse through the 80s and 90s, and I heard child sexual abuse, and I was talking, and everyone would go, no, it's been around forever. You're just talking about it now. No, we went through an epidemic. Did you see that kid that was arrested, was it in Riverside last weekend, that admitted to having sex with 50 children? I'm here to tell you that is not unusual. When people are that way, when they're a perpetrator, they do that to lots of people, many times hundreds. And it is something that we should be talking about because it's something we should be aware of. But I don't know. It doesn't have the same gratification that talking about sexual harassment.
Yeah, no. Well, here from
It's
look
like harmful
as
for the
from
kids,
when
and the parents feel bad. They did something they harm.
Well, but you
some
can
way,
do
obviously.
something with the harasser. Like, okay, we got to get him.
well, and also the entire topic itself. It's not that even that it's taboo. It's that we all kind of collectively agree it's too much,
Too intense,
I mean, look. I love
but I agree, it should be
Discovery
discussed.
ID, right? Everybody watches those Discovery ID or
He's talking
Forensic
about,
Files.
He's talking about murder porn.
Right, yeah. A 35-year-old person gets murdered. You're like, fucking, I want to see this. Yeah, let me get it. As soon as it's like, and then the body was found, you're like, wait, come on, what are we doing here? I'll never forget Matt Money Smith, who used to do sports for Kevin and Bean. He does now host PMS with Petros. Really talented, really smart guy. This was probably 12 years ago. I went to see Mystic River, the movie Mystic River with Sean Penn and a bunch of really talented actors. And I come back to Kevin and Bean the next following Monday, and I go, Matt, you got to go see Mystic River. He's like, I can't go see that. I was like, why? He's like, it's got a young daughter getting murdered. I'm not going to go watch that. It's just there's no way I could sit through it. And I was like, shut the fuck up. It's a movie. What do you mean? Fast forward to now, and I'm like, I totally get it. I'm not going to go watch some movie where some guy's daughter gets murdered and she's in a ditch and shit. Now, I'll watch Rambo light up 50 Burmese people in fucking napalm.
No, but the point is you have a daughter now. You can relate to that.
No, it's just children.
Yeah.
It's just something about children. When it's children, you're just like, wait, what's going on?
Speaking of, did anybody seen that Netflix series Voyeur? Yeah. Oh, my God. Were you as bothered by that as I was? Gay Talese needs to be fucking arrested. Am I right? It's about this guy that you did you tell me about it? You did.
I think I did. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to paraphrase? It was
No.
This guy that owned a motel in the '60s. He built it so he could walk around in the attic and look down and spy on every single room. Yeah.
Like he specifically built it for that.
Yeah, he built it for that, and he kept meticulous records of everything he saw for 20, 30 years. Doing research, and in 1969, Gay Talese joined him looking at people and went, oh, what an interesting subject for a story this would be. And then Gay Talese waited until the statute of limitation had worn out to go publish his fucking book.
Yeah, I think they should research my fucking foot kicking their dick off.
But I mean,
flying away like a Red Bull can.
I was so troubled by this. I'm still very troubled by it.
It's almost like Roman Polanski or something. And that's a bad example. Like Charles Manson, with his passing, there's been a lot of talk about Charles Manson. It's almost outside of my pay grade. Like that level of illness, I go, I don't even know what I'm looking at. That is fucked up.
He is way out sociopath, sick dude. What's wrong with Gay Talese?
Yeah.
What's wrong? Didn't immediately call the police?
It's the same thing. I mean, you see it with addict. It's like magically the girl who has the alcoholic father can just, without even talking to the guy, she goes and she's attracted to the dude who's an alcoholic in the bar. It just it's fucking magic. And we just didn't know that this guy was also equally as fucked up.
Right.
And he's like, whoa, this seems interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's this weird kismet thing,
Now it's obvious.
I always, and I don't know how to say this without like having the FBI waiting for me.
Uh-oh.
But I never, I count my blessings almost daily. But I never understood how someone like myself, who is a victim of childhood sexual abuse, prolonged.
What?
And also,
What do you mean prolonged?
Meaning, like there was 3 or 4 separate instances with 3 or 4 separate people.
For you?
Yeah,
We didn't know that.
Dude.
it's not. Yes, you did.
I did not.
Well, I didn't talk about it till I was like 30.
I
right?
know, and then
was
I
on
told
We
you.
Love
know
Line.
of one.
And I said you
I
were
feel like we
sexually
know he's-
abused. And you went, I was 13. I was a big boy. It's like,
Yeah, that's how I talk.
and have you heard?
Listen, let me-
have you heard, Emily, about other episodes except the one?
The one. I know all about it.
Yeah.
Well-
I know that more than Paris Poo, I feel.
Yeah. Well, that was how I lost my virginity. So
Right,
that I mean, I think
okay,
it has
that's
a,
it. But the other
like
2 or 3 we left out.
Yeah. Well,
This is
either
like
way.
a whole nother.
Well, it's
So-
worthy of comment because I was going to finish the story about where
I
what
don't
those
know
were.
how, and admittedly, I have deviant sexual behavior in my past. I don't know how I didn't develop into someone who has criminally deviant sexual behavior.
Because you've always
I
had.
thank God, but I
No,
don't know how.
you have a deep moral compass and you have empathy. Even when you were sort of out of it, you were still had the capacity to appreciate.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
In fact-
I
in
still
fact, to
remember
the
the girl I
detriment of-
introduced myself to that I banged. I still remember the look on her face like it was yesterday.
Well,
It
tell
was
them
like-
what you're talking about.
Yeah, everyone knows that story.
We'll just paraphrase it.
I was in Vegas. I was partying super hard, really hard. It was New Year's. I come down to eat breakfast one morning, and I introduced myself to this girl. And it turns out I'd banged her like 15 times in the last couple days. And we're walking around Vegas, holding hands. We went on dates. And I was like, hey, nice to meet you. And the look on her face when she realized I wasn't joking was hard. I mean, it's horrifying. It's like I've seen war. I mean, I was like, ugh, just even thinking about it. But, you know.
We got to find her. Anyway.
I can find her. We're friends on Facebook.
You're friends on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
I'm literally a different human
Literally,
being.
I understand that. But he brings up an interesting point. He was sexually abused 3 times, and I'm assuming you're talking about repetition compulsion, right? How you found somebody to oblige you.
Yes.
Yeah, the humans have this extraordinary... did you call it a tick today? Were we talking about this?
I don't
Somebody
think so.
was talking to said it's almost like a tick. And I think it's a biological wiring where if you have a horrible experience in childhood, you will find people and circumstances that will oblige you by reenacting it. You'll be literally attracted to them. Do you remember the 2 people you went back to that abused you? Were you sort of attracted to them in some weird
Yeah.
way? And they will, of course, repeat the behavior. And somebody asked me today, well, why do we do that? Why does human do that? And I thought, it's hard to figure out the evolutionary... It was Ethan Berman. I was doing his show there. We talked about this. What's the evolutionary purpose of that? And I think it has something to do with... First of all, there's probably a good version of it, right? We also probably repeat good things.
Yeah.
But I think there's a more interesting piece, which is we have a tendency to ritualize trauma. I mean, what is Passover? But we repeat every year exactly what happened. We drink salt water, we have parsley, we eat an egg, do exactly the same thing. And by the way, the story of that trauma, if we had told the story, it would have become some crazy myth. When you offload
to reenact it, yeah.
If you reenact it the same way every year, 3,000 years later, people are still doing the same thing. And it's kind of interesting, isn't it? So
Is that why?
So you won't forget? Is that why?
It's
The
a
same kind of
way.
thing?
It's an
More than-
evolutionary adaptation. So traumatized populations don't lose the memory. It's an offloaded memory, a ritual of exactly what happened, so it doesn't happen again.
Oh, it's so gross.
What?
I don't know. I just think about like how it's like as if trauma can click on some switch, like you're an animatronic Chuck E. Cheese character, and it's like now that's what you live. And
Do you feel like that?
No, but I remember every single time we talked to a battered woman on Loveline, that is exactly what I'd hear. I'd go, "How can you not just leave?" She's like, "But you know, this is the last time it'll happen. It'll never happen
But I
again."
love
He
him.
says he loves me.
Yeah.
I love him, and you know, I can only imagine what trauma probably whatever switch that was watching your dad hit your mom or your dad
That's how
beat
you
the shit
get
out of you.
in, but once you're in, it's a little more complicated getting out. It's a little more complicated. But what happened those other 2 times?
You
want to
thought
talk
for
about
sure,
it?
Well, no, not because of me. It's because that situation is with people that
How old were you?
a grown man.
Oh.
Well, I mean, 17, 18 years old.
Ah.
But I was a roided out 17, 18
It's because,
year old.
but also we have to heal, right? Eventually, we have to heal our traumas, right? Because
Yes.
otherwise, we
Repeat 'em.
repress them, repeat them. So maybe it's survivalist way of saying like you can't forget that you have to act on this. So it keeps happening.